So did you guys have a date for Valentine's Day? I did. February 14th. That was a joke. Yes, we have just had Valentine's Day, where we were all thinking about hearts and special people in our lives. And in fact, during the entire month of February, we tend to have love on the brain. Having a special person in our lives has always been highly valued by our culture. In fact, we are told over and over that we'll be happier, we'll be healthier, we'll live longer if we are in a loving relationship. And I agree with that. But I think we've gotten it wrong a little bit. As a culture, we support and we reinforce having a person to love and loving other people. But we do not always support and reinforce the need to love ourselves. Oscar Wilde said, "To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance." Now, I think many people are hesitant to begin that lifelong romance because they see loving themselves as a selfish act. I asked a good friend of mine, "What stops you from loving yourself?" And she said very simply, quickly, and directly, "The fear that I would hurt somebody else's feelings. I need to please other people, and I don't feel like I'm supposed to love myself and put my own needs first, because then I might not be doing something that somebody else needs or wants me to do." And I'm willing to bet that there are many people in this room who would agree with her. Many of us here have spent a lifetime taking care of other people, and while we've cared for them and loved them, we've put the care and the love of ourselves on a back burner. But I'm not talking about being a narcissist. I'm not encouraging us to be self-centered or self-indulgent. I'm not suggesting that we stop caring for other people or stop loving them. This isn't something we need to do instead of loving other people. This is something that must occur while we love other people. When I say we need to love ourselves, I mean we need to accept ourselves, take care of ourselves, nurture ourselves, and value ourselves. Life coach and New York Times bestselling author Mark Chernoff states, "The greatest struggle in life is the struggle to accept, embrace, and love ourselves with all of our imperfections, to be 100% honest about who we are, how we feel, and what we need, to stop discrediting ourselves for everything we aren't, and start giving ourselves credit for everything we are." How many of you can honestly say that you accept yourselves? I'm not asking for a show of hands. How many of you could use some suggestions on how to accept and love yourself better? That is asking for show of hands. Because I have some suggestions for you today, and I'm hoping that you need and want those. How to love and accept ourselves better. Let's start with one of the hardest ones. Be one with what is. Give up on the perfect and begin the journey of becoming your true self. Our culture trains us to want a perfect life, perfect spouse, perfect children, perfect house, perfect job, money, weather, friends, and vacations. When we can retrain our minds to process life as it is, rather than what we think it should be, we'll be indeed at peace. Say to yourself, "I am enough." Say it softly right now. I am enough. Say that to yourself often. You are enough in all that you bring to this world. You bring unique talents and skills and gifts and insights and experiences that we all need to hear. Know that you are worthy. You are worthy and deserving of good things. You deserve to be happy. You deserve joy, good people in your life, and good experiences. Say to yourself, "I'm worthy." and say it often. The second tip here is to remind yourself of your good qualities every now and then. It's so easy to be aware of our mistakes. It's so easy to be aware of the things we should have done, the things that we didn't do, that we should do. Every now and then, it's very important to take an inventory of your strengths and your good qualities. Recall to mind things people have said about you, things people have told you. Remember compliments. If you keep cards or letters from people, take them off the shelf and reread them. And remind yourself of times that you felt better about yourself. Every time you think of a quality that you don't like about yourself, try to balance that out with a reminder of a quality that is pretty darn good about who you are. Number 3, learn to enjoy your own company. Now, I'm mostly speaking to the extroverts in the room here because the introverts have this one nailed. Extroverts don't always try to fill your alone time with other people. You need to spend time alone. When I was an educator, my life was so filled with people that I lost touch with myself sometimes and lost touch with my own needs. I was so caught up in caring for other people that I sometimes felt completely disconnected from myself. So for me, spending time alone, even as an extrovert, spending time alone is the best remedy for that disconnection. Away from others, we are free to think, to reflect, to ponder, to think about life and to think about ourselves. Many of my greatest revelations come when I am completely alone, engaged in a physical activity outside of my mind, just listening to my body, either painting a wall or working out at the gym, not talking to anybody, just reflecting and enjoying my own company. Learning to enjoy your own company is an important step to learning to love yourself. And finally, surround yourself with the right people. In our lives, we have givers and takers. Takers take from us. They take our energy. They take our patience. They take our time. They take our compliments and our encouragement. And unfortunately, sometimes the takers have done some real damage to our souls. They might be the voices in our heads that have trained us to believe that we will never be enough. Givers, of course, do the opposite. They give to us time, energy, patience, love, and compliments. Therapist Ken Page tells us that the only way to really love ourselves is to allow others around us to teach us to love aspects of ourselves again and again. We are all vulnerable. And it is precisely at those most vulnerable moments that people can cripple us or heal us. Surrounding yourself with people who see and relish your true self is the key. Someone who isn't afraid of your passion or envious of your gifts. Someone who has a generosity of spirit and encourages you toward greater self-expression and self-development. These are the golden people in your life. These are relationships of inspiration. Hold them close. I would like to believe that our community here at Entry Point functions as a relationship of inspiration for you. It is my hope that while you're here among us, you are gently reminded of what is good about you. We hope to convey to you the incredibly, wildly, massive love that God has for you. We try to show each person that enters this room that you are loved and you are accepted. And our hope is that that will help you to love and accept yourself better. The journey to loving yourself is filled with twists and turns. consider the story of Brian, whose struggles in recovery is a true inspiration for all of us. Brian writes, "I'm 58 years old, and for the first time in my entire life, I'm genuinely happy. I'm happy with the person I've become because I made the decision to work on my relationship with myself. I began to learn to love myself unconditionally. My mother was an alcoholic. My workaholic father always told me I would never amount to anything. I've always struggled with low self-esteem and low self-awareness and low self-confidence. Throughout my marriage, though, I was able to obtain love and acceptance and support, all aspects that I was consistently denied growing up. And I felt that I had a purpose when I was with my wife. But when my wife became ill and passed away, I spiraled down. I began drinking heavily, and I became so dependent on drugs that I was unable to go to work. My life was a complete mess. I suffered 4 years of darkness, failed relationships, and dysfunction. I had spent so much of my life longing for external acceptance from others that I never looked within myself. I never listened to my internal feelings. I never put myself first. And then I started to work on my relationship with myself. I surrounded myself with good people. People who helped me to see that I had value, helped me to start to love myself. Today, I'm in a very different place. The self-hatred that had consumed me for so many years has now disappeared. And despite what my parents told me, I now know that I am a good human being and I matter. The success of Brian's journey to love himself is easily explained in an article entitled How Love Heals, in which author Dr. Gail Brenner discusses a concept called the love mindset. Dr. Brenner describes the love mindset this way. A love mindset is a state of mind where you can experience love for yourself and others regardless of outside circumstances. When we develop a love mindset, we move past the damage done to us in our childhoods. When we develop a love mindset, we choose to work on accepting all of the available love that is around us. The love of God, the love of family and friends and dear ones who have reached out to us, the beautiful support that we get from relationships of inspiration, instead of rejecting that love. We choose to take that love into our souls and allow it to heal us. Love heals you. And in that healing, you begin to love yourself. Amen. The wise Buddha has said, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. God loves us magnificently and hugely. It is my prayer that each of us will embrace our unique set of strengths and gifts. We were not created just to serve other people. Develop a love mindset. You are worthy. Oh, you are worthy. And you are enough. You will always be enough. Love yourself. Have a great Sunday. Go in peace.